Hello, everyone. So I will welcome to another episode of a live show from Investing with a Difference. We are a group on Facebook. You can search us. It's a public page, Investing with a Difference. And if you go here, we have a closed group for the traders, like crypto traders. We started this in March, and we have made some good progress. Now we are also on Telegram with a premium channel where we talk about this news and we do some trading to make some short-term gains as well as portfolio planning. So as usual, we are going to start with the Bitcoin price analysis. So we didn't have a good last few days, as you know that we had been struggling to cross this 200-day moving average, which is the red line here. So we did consolidate. I was very hopeful that we can break it out because we spent quite a lot of time in this area. But we started starting from May 6th. We came down, we broke below these key support areas. We spent some time here, but this was the critical day. I think we broke down on May 11th. And now I don't see any good support nearby. So today I think we are again moving. It's a much bigger candle than usual. We spent some time, and this is again a bull trap, I would call it. So this looks like a pretty negative in market for Bitcoin perspective. And I'm still like in an optimistic scenario. I'm looking at 8100 to hold. We are already below it. So I think this was the updates I made today morning. If you're on our Facebook page, so it was holding very nicely before it just, I think, a few minutes back. So let's look at last maybe a 15-minute chart. So it has kind of broken down. So you see the big red candle here. So this was maybe an hour back. We are kind of clawing back a little bit. But this was a huge volume again. So if you see, these big candles are mostly huge volume. There's still a lot of selling happening in this market. So we talked about in previous videos, if you're following on YouTube, we talked about Mt. Gox trust selling. We haven't seen any more withdrawals from them, from their cold wallets, but we never know when that selling will be over. So there are a lot of big selling is happening even now. There is another thing which happened was the consensus was a big kind of a boost, expected to be a boost, which didn't work out. So that was a disappointment. Most of the sessions were very similar to what happened in previous conferences. Regulatory authorities, some of them participated. They didn't make any new statements. So to be frank, it was kind of a no event. Like there was really no benefit of this consensus to the market. And technically, we were sitting on a landmine here because we were, as we discussed, we had been going down from this. We were not able to cross this 200-day moving average for a very long time now. So again, I would say we still have a very strong support in the 6,850 area. That's the last line of support. But in the intermediate term, I would say we had a big breakout and consolidated in 7,800 to 8,000 zone. And I do expect, even if it has to fall more, I do expect it to spend some time here. And if you are part of our trading group, you know that we don't really believe in like Bitcoin trading. We just hold Bitcoin, and we are trying to grow our Bitcoin holdings by trading altcoins. So we make short-term trades and medium-term trades, and our goal is to continue increasing our Bitcoin holding. And in turn, we are trying to reduce our buy price. So if you make one Bitcoin and make it into two, you are reducing your buy price by half. Now, again, just as a summary, I would say let's keep watching for these 8,100 and 7,800 levels to hold. Again, I'm referring to Bitfinex exchange. You need to understand that every exchange has a different price point, varies by a few, I think, tens of dollars. So when I'm referring to these levels, I do my analysis on Bitfinex because that's what my tools support best in terms of volumes. One thing I would like to highlight is Ethereum. So if I look at the chart of Ethereum, I like it much more than Bitcoin. So if you're looking for converting into fiat currency into some crypto holdings, I would say Ethereum is looking much safer than Bitcoin. I have myself been buying Ethereum recently a little bit because I'll talk about it later. I really started using the decentralized exchanges like AirSwap, and when I'm buying EOS, I can go and directly exchange my Ethereum to EOS directly from my hardware wallet. I don't have to use any exchanges. So that is one reason. But in general, if you look at this chart, Ethereum has had a pretty bad time in March and April timeframe. It underperformed after going big all the way up to for $1,400, $1,500, and it fell very sharply, and it made a V-shaped recovery. And interestingly, we came back above 200-day moving average, and since then we are not closing below this 200-day moving average. So today, I think, is a test of that. But in general, we are still in a good channel here, and we can take support around 650 area. And that's what my hope is, that Ethereum should be little better than Bitcoin in short term if it's going to take support here. And going forward, I think there is a good chance of a breakout. There has been some news around Ethereum. There has been an Ethereum futures launch. There are a lot of the Chinese government came out with the ratings for currencies, and Ethereum was on the top. Personally, I don't agree. There are a lot of issues with Ethereum, and as you all know, we have been, if you are following my channel, we are talking about how Ethereum has limitations, and that's one of the reasons why EOS is something which we are really positive on. And we believe that Ethereum ecosystem is going to be disrupted. In fact, Ethereum has a lot more challenges even from other blockchains like Tron, like Quantum, Qtum, and there are a lot of other blockchains which can actually do much better than Ethereum. So from that perspective, fundamentally, I do not support Ethereum, but as of today, there's no option. If you are investing in tokens, you need to use ERC20 wallets. Ethereum is still a huge ecosystem. It's still the only platform available which is easy to use and widely accepted. So from that perspective, it's a safe investment in short term. It's a good entry point for your fiat money to be converted into cryptos. And that is, and in general, technically, it is looking much better than Bitcoin. So all of you who have joined the session, I see quite a few users. So you can add your questions in the chat box right below your YouTube screen, and we will be able to take your questions if you have any. Otherwise, we'll keep going. I have a few items to talk about, but I wanted this to be an interactive session. So feel free to ask your questions, what you want me to talk about, and that's how we want to keep this going. All right, so coming back to now, so what is happening? So in general, let me go back to our Facebook group where we keep posting some news items. So there are a lot of positive activity in general which is happening. So let's first look at the EU news, that EU has released new regulations, and these are like KYC regulations. But this is actually good for the cryptocurrencies, because what in effect it is legitimizing the investments, and now more and more funds can invest in it, more banks can open crypto exchanges. And one immediately after the news which came out was Germany's largest stock exchange is launching cryptocurrency trading. So this is just a start. I think this big announcement from EU will have a lot of impact. You will see a lot more Europe based investments coming in. Till now, it was very unclear what the regulations will be, what will be the issues around creating a kind of institutionalized or a retail desk by some banks or investment firms. So now that is clear. Another news is Robinhood, which actually is expanding their crypto platform. As you may already know, it is one of the biggest and the fastest growing stock trading platform in US. And they recently started rolling out crypto trading. And now they have raised up to $363 million to build the largest ever crypto platform. So this is going to continuously expand the reach of cryptos. And as ultimately, Bitcoin is the entry point, as we all know. It's the biggest brand in when you talk about cryptocurrencies. If you have not heard about Bitcoin, you have never heard about any other coin. So that's why I think Bitcoin is still going to see a lot of inflows. And that is the only, I think Bitcoin is the only currency which is really scarce, because it's like you cannot create more than a certain amount of coins. and a lot of big billionaires are holding these positions. Then we do have some other news, like there are certain US counties which are now accepting crypto for tax payments. So these kind of things are like really positive news. So if you see, even though the Bitcoin is correcting, and even if you see like we had a big, so let's go back to the Bitcoin chart. All these this big correction can spook you that it's a technical correction because it has gone up from 6,500, and price moving up and down is one thing, but you need to understand, based on this news and what is happening in the crypto world, everything is very positive. Right now there's a lot of funds being lined up. So if you look at another news item, that Coinbase is targeting $10 billion worth of new market creation. So when they're talking about this, they're talking about getting new money into the market, and this is again institutional money, and that is the thing which we are going to be looking at in terms of how this evolves. So I think in long term it's a good chance to maybe buy on dip, and I would say again technically we will keep looking at support areas and what is a good buy points. So I have a question here which says, can I ask how long you have been in crypto space? So means I have been studying crypto for a long time, but I have been in stock market for like 20 years, and I started trading cryptos maybe like 10 months or 12 months back. But overall, I would say I have been invested more and more time recently only, because I was not really a serious crypto investor till the recent times in, I would say, end of 2017. Okay, coming back to where we are on. So moving on, I think let's look at EOS. So as I keep saying, right now this is the biggest thing which is happening. EOS is going to be the biggest platform as per my analysis, and we have the launch happening towards end of May or 1st June, when the tokens will be frozen. We have done a lot of videos on our platform, on our YouTube channel. Let us look at this price action move on EOS. So it's still correcting, and this is going with the market, I would say. But you have to take it in the context that we are still we have made a big move from very low levels of like $5 recently, $4.50, and actually starting from 50 cents. And because the ICO is still going on, there's a lot of coins which are still coming in, like 2 million coins every day, which are being pushed into the market through the ICO. So this is possible that it will correct more. And I would say another thing which is happening is it's still not that easy for people to understand what is happening on the mainnet launch. There are a lot of people panicking on the registration of the tokens. The recent announcements, if I go to the block.one web page, so they'd made this big statement. So I've already done videos on it, so I will not go into detail on them. But they talked about that they are not going to launch it, and it will be all community-driven effort. And people are skeptical about it. So we can imagine what is happening there. But recently, if you see, what they did is they immediately updated their site after making those official statements. They have created this big item about EOS VC. And this is what they had committed, that $1 billion funds they are going to focus on EOS ecosystem. And now they are already inviting people to contact them with their proposals. They have a big hackathon which is planned in Hong Kong, and that there are already a lot of projects going there. And I believe most of these funds will start flowing into those projects. And very soon we will see really big announcements which are backed by block.one. So right now it is block.one is being very careful, because they don't want to be linked as the EOS cannot be seen as a security from by SEC. They cannot be seen as supporting EOS directly, because it is a gray area for them from the regulatory perspective. This EOS, because they raise this big ICO which can come under regulatory authorities, can really go and go after them. So right now they're waiting for this ICO to be over. And I believe this EOS VC fund will start pumping all these new projects. And already we have talked about airdrops which are coming. There are a lot more airdrops should happen, because once it is a project which is supported by block.one, they would try to add value to the EOS tokens, and they would try to give you more and more airdrops. And if you go to the EOS tokens, so which I have highlighted a few times to people, like, what is the why block.one will continue uh, supporting it. You need to understand this 100 million tokens which are owned by block.one. That is their equity in this project. So this it is in their interest to make sure that they keep adding value to the EOS. And plus, one more thing you need to understand: these 100 million tokens are locked. As per the contract, they cannot sell it in open market even after the mainnet launch. So they get, this will vest in 10 years. Every year, out of this 100 million, 10 million EOS they can really release from, and this is a logged under the smart contract, and this is how it was defined always. So it is a 10 years worth of investment for them at least, to make sure, and this they can continue uh, investing into it using the funds they have already raised in ICO. And they have committed 1 billion funds, and as we talked about in another video, there are so many other venture funds who are creating more and more funds around, and more partnerships around EOS ecosystem development. So again, I think I cannot emphasize enough that this is an opportunity you should not miss. There can be a crash even further. Be patient. Maybe you can average down if you have the capability to buy more. This can be one of the best investment of our lifetime, because this is a big change which is happening in the blockchain world. EOS is the only token which can really make the new use cases possible, which we are struggling with today on Ethereum blockchain. So again, I will take more questions. I think let's focus on the content first. We can talk about. I would prefer not to get into my personal life or personal questions at this stage. So let us talk about anything on the crypto space first. If you have any other things you want to talk about in pricing. The other thing, of course, is the immediate airdrop, which I already posted a video. So Lab Ledger is already announced this. So May 21st is the snapshot, which is not very far. So make sure your tokens are in the wallet. And this is going to be airdropped on June 21st. And June 1st, what is happening, as you know, June 1st is the freeze of your tokens, which are very important that you have registered your keys. You own your keys, so your ERC20 tokens will disappear and they will become useless, and you need to have your keys which you registered very safely secured. Make sure that you know how, whenever the wallets are released, there will be new wallets announcements very soon. I was participating in some of the discussions with some block producers on some channels, and many of them are already working on wallets. So as this is a community project, so we will see more and more community-based wallets and announcements. EOS DAC, as we know, has been one of the leading block producer candidate, and they have already released their airdrop, and they have been so as we talked about in another video, that EOS DAC is already 25 cents. It's trading, and it has already created a value of $300 million. Now they have actually been also creating a proposal that how they will be sharing their dividends. Like when they make money, if they are selected as a block producer, they will be sharing EOS tokens as dividends. So that's another benefit of these block producers, which we will talk about in future as we get more clarity on how this is evolving. So there's a question on YouTube which says, have you heard so far as what wallets are going to be available? So as I said, the wallets are under development. I think a lot of efforts are ongoing. One thing I would like to say is do not hurry up. Even if, let's say, a wallet is released, wait for the feedback. Wait for this, like whether it is safe, because it's not easy to say whether a particular wallet is tested by community and there may be some bugs, and you may lose your tokens just because you were in a hurry to try out that wallet and entering your private keys into that wallet. So I would say, yes, I'm hearing a lot of wallets are coming up, but I don't know if those are going to be safe. So we will continue tracking that, and we will let you know as I hear more and more. So the other question I see is so the EOS launch over June 1st. Are you aware if there are going to be any kind of launch discussions or live YouTube videos? So if you're talking about discussions, the community is already discussing. There are a lot of Telegram channels, there are Reddit discussions. The EOS Go is the best place to know most things about your block producers. I did a video on mainnet launch on what to expect. So do browse through the YouTube channel. You can know more about what are the things which are going to happen on June 1st and June 2nd and so on. And we will, of course, share more and more details on this channel, and we'll keep you updated. We can have a Q&A session because I really love EOS project. I will be tracking very closely, and definitely I'll try to share more and more details with you guys. So, but one thing which I have highlighted in the other video also is that it will be, you will have to be patient. EOS launch will not be easy because it will take some time for the network to stabilize. There will be a lot of FUD. There will be a lot of concerns. There can be initial challenges, but I expect, because the kind of technical teams I see, when I look at the discussions in the block producer forums, I see that many of them are very experienced teams, and they are very, very strong technically. So hopefully it will stabilize within 2 to 3 days. And then once the wallets are available, I'm sure. So you need to understand it's a very different approach. EOS is a democratic process. It's a consensus by voting. If you want to participate, you will be able to vote in the selection of block producers. You will have your say in that. But I think as a small investor, if you're only caring for the value of the token, you can just wait for it and let the community decide. The other part I would say is the tokens will not be tradable for a few days. So even after the wallet is released, the tokens will be staked. So what is the meaning of staked is they will be locked, and they cannot be unstaked for 3 days after the mainnet launches. So that is the default status of EOS. So you can read more about this. As I said, you can also watch the mainnet launch video on the YouTube channel, and you will know more about it. So any other questions on EOS, please feel free to ask here. I understand that it is going to be a very complicated launch, as not many people, mostly people are here for just making money. But I think if you really believe in this project, you can go and really learn about it. That's what cryptocurrencies are all about, and owning your own money, and understanding what it means, and that is the future. You cannot just assume that somebody will take care of your tokens or your money. It's going to be a decentralized world, and faster you learn it, you will be much more comfortable with the EOS. So I have a question here. What's the prediction on the price? I would say I am, as I said before, EOS is, I am expecting EOS to be very high. Like, I did an exercise with some of my friends who are in venture capital world, and there are various valuation models you can put. So I can say up to $100 billion is nothing for EOS if they are successful in creating the ecosystem which they are targeting. So from a token price perspective, there are a lot of things which matter. There will be a market impact. There will be how the overall market cap is evolving. So let's go and say what is the today's market cap. So today we have the coin market cap is $368 million. It's fallen again as the market is going down. So you see that Ethereum is also now only 67 million, while at a peak it had gone up to maybe $200 billion. So how do you value these? These are very big numbers. You need to understand that it's a hyped world. Bitcoin, we know the value, but we do not know the price. The price is driven by market. What you can say is that it will be valued very high. What I can definitely say that US will not be number 5. It will be maybe number 3, number 2 very soon, based on how it moves. Now, but exact token value depends on the market, depends on how much money flows into cryptos. And as of today, it looks very positive, as we talked about the news about how much money and big banks are trying to create. But token price will depend on overall market. And definitely, I can easily see it becoming number 2 in a very short time. Because Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, they are nowhere close in terms of value creation as EOS is creating. And Ethereum, even though it is the dominant blockchain player, it is way behind EOS in technology, in scalability, and what EOS can achieve. So, and also we need to understand even though we are trading EOS tokens for like almost such a long time, like almost about 8 or 9 months or maybe 1 year, some of you, uh, EOS is launching on June 1st. So it's like a start, it's a first day of a new company. So if you are patient, you will see the value. In short term, maybe you will see some more decline, because it's ultimately it's a startup, it's a community which is going to come around. There will be ecosystem build up. So I would say by end of this year, I'm looking at easily overtaking Ethereum at current valuation, or maybe even if Ethereum grows, maybe we can still beat that with the US. So that is what my basic analysis say. By while I'm working on some valuation models, talking to some of the friends who are in the venture capital world, who are really doing this kind of exercise on a day-to-day basis. And I'll let you know. I think I can share more details in a closed group rather than on a YouTube channel. So do join our Facebook group, and we usually discuss a lot of things which are very specifically what we can expect in future and so on. All right, so if there are no further questions, again, let us look at rest of the market. So again, it's looking like a bloodbath. Other coins are also going down, as some more than others. So we need to wait for how the market to recover and see how it evolves. Um, in general, I think the news, as I said, the consensus hype did not work out, which everybody was expecting. And there will be a lot of people who will be disappointed and sell into this because there are a lot of traders, and there is a lot of now there is a futures availability. There are a lot of other options in crypto world. And those traders are not really investing in these currencies. They are just looking for a quick buck. And so this kind of price action, you see all this bloodbath happening. This will keep happening. It's a very volatile world out there, so you have to manage your own risks, but make sure that you understand where the value lies. As I said, Bitcoin, for me, Bitcoin is more of a store of value. It's the most popular brand in crypto world. So that's why I still believe in holding Bitcoin. But in terms of value creation, I think platforms like EOS are creating most value going forward. All right, so I think this is mainly the topics I wanted to talk about. Catch up. I think if feel free to ask any questions. If we because we will be, I have another 10 to 15 minutes for this session to continue. Um, Going back to, I think I'll still look at the Bitcoin chart and say that what let's go and look at the levels a little closely. So now that we have broken through 8100, I am looking at this consolidation zone in the price, whether we can sustain here. But if we drop below 7800, I think we are looking at going and testing this trend line. So if you have been tracking my Bitcoin price analysis videos, I do a logarithmic chart, and I was very positive when we crossed above this downtrend, which had started from around $20,000, and this was a breakout which actually helped us go all the way up to $10,000. Now this is now no longer a valid move because we have fallen below this breakout point. So we tried to consolidate here around this breakout point, but we have now dropped below this breakout. So now it has negated the whole positive move which started in April. So now I'm not really positive on the overall Bitcoin and the market in short term. So I would look. So I think it's very easily it can go down to 7,000 area in short term, and that is something which we need to watch out for. And again, this is always like you need to prepare for how this market can fall, and what is your what are you going to do when the market goes down. And that is how I look at. We are still making some trades in altcoin market to continue growing Bitcoin, but we have to be ready that this market can really give you a lot more pain before it goes up. Other option I can see is that if we consolidate in this 7,800 to 8,000 area, we can create some kind of a symmetrical pattern. We did move up with a very big move here before we dipped again. So it can be some kind of a reverse head and shoulder pattern. Again, these are all probabilities. I would still hope that just like we spent time here earlier, if we can recover quickly from today's fall and maybe consolidate a little more, then I will have another probability of it going up right from here. But as of today, I'm not seeing any sign of support. 8100 is now cleared very clearly. I see that it's already $8,000, and 7800 is definitely going to hit now. But I think that is a low point here. So here is, if I see even 7750. So if I look at this candle, the low point is 7739. So it can go even below 7800, but I would still look for it to consolidate in this area before it starts making any positive move in the short term. All right, so if no other questions, guys, so we will close the session shortly. All the best to everybody who is trading and who is owning a lot of cryptocurrencies. I think we have to understand that it is a huge move which has happened in last 1 year. We are still way above where it was. So let me go back to the Bitcoin chart. So always remember the bigger picture. If you look at this picture, which is not very long back, it's maybe just a 1 year back, it is still looking like a very positive chart if somebody started here. So it's not a bad move right now. It can still be seen as a consolidation. We still have higher lows here. So this trend line which I'm tracking, this is still upward slanting, and so it's not like a gloom and doom, which I think a lot of people will be talking about. So don't worry about headlines. Look at the bigger picture, that we are still, it can be a year where we don't go anywhere and we just consolidate, and more value is created in the meantime, while the new projects launch, and there will be a lot more actual value coming out of blockchain rather than just the currencies and the hype. And that is what we need to wait for. And I hope that people are understanding these things before making quick decisions about that this small term action. So if you entered right around here, or if you entered in the hype in late 2017, you are only seeing this portion of the chart, which can be pretty difficult because of all the ups and downs. But always look at a bigger picture. That's what I say, that we have come up from $1,000 area not long back. It's only 1 year back. So it is still a move. It will be a volatile market. You need to just prepare for it and make sure that you have a plan what you do when it goes down, and whether you can hold it. Some people are doing, they tether it to like the stable currency, stable coins. I personally don't believe in it. I'm a long time holder of Bitcoin, while I invest in quality projects like EOS and some other coins which we talk about in our core holding, in our Facebook group, as well as in our Telegram channel. So that's all from me here. I don't see any more questions. Thanks for joining. For more informative content, please subscribe to our channel, and do let us know if you have any comments and any other suggestions. Thanks for everybody. Bye bye for now.